Welcome back to Talking Sheffield. I am with the strongest man in Sheffield. He's the strongest man in England as well. He's called Phil Roberts, and he's back for the second half. You know what we haven't got into, Phil, is actually going through some of these rounds of these strongmen competitions.
Right.
So you mentioned in the first half how when you were a little kid, and now actually it was quite fun to watch Jeff Capes lift up these enormous dumbbells and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
Before we get into some details, let's have a look at a video. I think this is you in action. When you became the England's strongest man, you are chucking some logs around. Maybe you can tell me afterwards what on earth you're doing here.
Yep.
Let's have a look at your log lifting.
Control it, Phil. Come on, Phil. Big effort. Come
on, Phil.
Yes.
Come on, push. Come on. Come on. Come on, Phil. Come on.
Big effort. Control it, Phil. Make it yours.
Is that you having a bit of a wobble?
Yes, so that was the pole push. So you're up against another person, one of the other competitors, and your aim is you've got to hold onto this pole that's got pieces of rope around it, and you've got to push that other person out of the circle. I don't know if you could see it on the video, but there was a circle there, and it was best out of 3. So I won both of them, and that was the final event. And then there was a few others I had to compete against them.
Well, the ones we've seen on telly are like the pulling the flipping truck or the car and the tyre. Yeah. Are all those are all in your tournament?
Well, similar sort of things. So we had to one of the earlier events was we had to flip a giant tyre that's from basically a big tractor, an agricultural tractor that weighed 400 kilos. So we had to flip it. I think it was 7 times we had to flip it. So quickest ones won.
And which is the rounds that you're best at? What kind of round works for your attributes and skills?
So me, I'm actually one of the referred to as one of the more skinny strongmen.
Brilliant.
Okay, at 21 stone, I'm classed as skinny.
Here he is, skinny Phil.
Yeah, Mr. Tickle. My one's the moving events, so I'm quite fast athletic-wise.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say I beat a sprinter, but I'm quite fast at the sprint. So we had to carry 19 stone sandbags over a distance. So I'm good at that one, where you have to pick it up nice and quick, run, then run back, pick up another one. So the moving events I'm best at. And
when you're in the tournament mode, is it just a ridiculous testosterone, adrenaline-fueled? Like, what's the kind of atmosphere, environment, banter, chirping between the other contestants? Is it just grunting all the way? What are you chatting to each other? What's it? Is it competitive? Well, what's it like behind the scenes?
Behind the scenes, what I used to do is I used to be in the middle of it, all the banter and having a laugh and taking a mick out of each other, just being general lads. Like to get on a rugby pitch sort of thing.
Yeah.
But in these last few events, I thought, I'm going to take this seriously. So I separated myself from the pack, stayed focused with my coach to one side and just completely concentrated on winning that title. And that's what happened. So
you have a full-time coach who is helping you prepare and not overtrain, presumably. Is that the key thing?
Yeah, so he's actually, he holds the reins so that I don't exhaust myself or injure myself. So if I'm really getting excited and thinking I'm doing really well and I want to do more, then he'll turn around and say, right, stop there. Stop straight away. So I'm desperate to carry on, but you've got to listen. You've got to listen to the coach.
And that's the biggest thing, not reining you in a little bit.
That's right, yeah. So he's got the techniques, he tells me what to do, and then basically when to stop as well.
Well, let's talk about injuries, because I'm watching that, I'm thinking, oh my God, I'd pull my back out straight away, my shoulders. The burn of it,
Yeah.
you must get so many injuries. How do you prevent just tearing muscles right, left and centre and getting all these injuries? Or do you get injuries constantly?
Yes. In fact, at England's Strongest Man, on one of the early events, I said you have to carry sandbags, which I'm usually quite good at.
Yeah.
I went to pick up the sandbag, and as I picked it up, it slipped, and then I felt a twang in my bicep.
Oh, I hate it when my bicep twangs like that.
No, I don't think you've experienced that, I don't know. And felt a movement shift in the arm. So I knew, because I've done similar things before.
And what round was this?
This was the third event, so halfway. That was the beginning of the halfway, yeah. And that is basically where the bicep tendon at the short head, so there's two attachments, one of them dropped down and came off the bone. So, but I carried on and still managed to win, so I'm happy with that.
And is that common? That's basically every tournament you're going to injure yourself?
No, not every tournament. A few, because you're pushing your body beyond what it should really be doing. So, yeah, you're bound to get injuries, but it's the price you pay. If you're not willing to get injuries, then you won't get to that sort of level.
And what are the sort of most common injuries that you
Bicep
get?
tears.
Is bicep tears?
Yeah, bicep tears, because it's a relatively small muscle. No matter how big someone gets the bicep, in comparison to the rest of the body, it is very small and very subject to injury in a lot of the strongman events.
Are you going to be, I mean, God forbid that you should ever retire from this, and we'll talk about when that might be. Are you going to be just sort of what's going to happen to all this muscle? Okay. Are you going to be able to walk down the street normally?
So the biggest myth is, when you stop training, all your muscles are going to turn into fat.
Yes. You mentioned Arnold Schwarzenegger before. Yeah. When he became, what's his role in California? He's not the president. He's
the governor, wasn't he?
Thank you, the governor. Yeah. That's the word I'm looking for. He was the governor. Noticeably, he wasn't quite as big because he's now, entered the world of politics. He can't be down the gym the whole time. No. I wouldn't say he looked fat, but those muscles had certainly changed to an extent. So the muscles don't turn to fat, but do they start sagging off? What happens to them?
Well,
you're not training as much.
No, so if you don't alter your diet, then you will become fat. Because I'm training so hard and I've got a large muscle mass, I can get away with eating a large amount of food. But if I stopped and lost the muscle mass, I'd get fat. The muscles wouldn't turn into fat, the muscles would shrink and the fat would grow. So it's two completely separate things. So it's one in that hand, one in the other. Fat's here, muscles here. There's no way you can combine them. Okay, they're two completely different entities. And also, the training-wise, you ease up on the training, then the muscles are gonna, they're gonna loosen off. They're gonna shrink to a certain extent. And if you've expanded your skin to a certain size, it may not expand back. It may not come back.
I'm just wondering, you're not doing yourself permanent damage, are you?
Hope not.
What do your doctors say to you?
I don't speak to the doctors very often.
Why is that?
That is because...
you don't like what they say to you?
From what I'd imagine they say to me, it's probably not good for me.
When's the last time you spoke to a doctor?
A long time. But it's the point that...
well, what's the worry for you? Do you know what I mean? You've put a lid on it, and what have you hidden that's lurking and wailing there that you're slightly at the back of your mind thinking, that can't be good. What are you worried about?
Well, I think most strongmen would say because they're lifting a lot of weights and running around with heavy weights and stuff, and has usually got a large body mass. There's a lot of pressure on the heart.
That's the thing, isn't it?
A lot of pressure on the heart. Yeah.
So shouldn't you be having checks on that?
Yes, I probably should be.
But you're scared that they would tell you to stop.
Not as much that, because if I was told I need to stop, it's not worth my life.
Your family would be telling you, flipping heck, you've just got to stop.
I wouldn't need them to, because nothing's worth dying for. So.
But you were saying you've got an addictive personality.
Yes.
You are addicted to going to the gym. At what age in this game do you stop being a sort of strongman contender? Right. Have you got folk who are in their 40s, 50s still doing this?
Well, there is one at a national level, very good chap called Mark Felix, and he's British, and he's 52 years old and still going strong. But then other people retire at 33, 34 through injuries or something, or maybe they just want a career change. They've decided they've got to what they want to get to and give up. So it's how long is a piece of string? It's that famous saying.
And how long? What about yourself? You know your own body. Are you feeling like you could carry on for a long time?
I think over the next 5 years, I would like to get to World's Strongest Man, maybe the final of World's Strongest Man.
Well, talk to me a little bit about what that. So you're entering the competition to be the UK Strongest Man.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
So you're going to take on a fella from England, Scotland. Sorry, from Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland.
Yes.
And then will you get a shot at that title in
Not
Europe?
at this one. Not at this one. This one is at a level that goes onto TV at Christmas time and then stops there. Okay, so that's the end of the tournament. The other ones, the other competitions, that they call it Britain's Strongest Man, this is a different league, is a qualifier for World's Strongest Man.
And that's what you would like?
I'd like that, yeah. I did that earlier this year. I wasn't prepared for it, so I didn't do as well as I'd like to have done. But hopefully I'll get a shot at it next year. But it's an invite only, so you can't qualify. You can't put yourself forward to get there. You have to wait to be invited.
And how will you be invited? What will you have to win
get
to
noticed.
be? Just have to be noticed more,
Yeah,
more publicity?
So I won England's Strongest Man. It's not necessarily publicity, it's the fact that I won the Northern England qualifier. I won England's Strongest Man.
So
I'm
from
off
winning
the UK's
tournaments.
Strongest Man.
Yeah.
You can't ignore me.
Yeah.
So I'm getting to a point where I basically say, I'm here and I'm not going anywhere, so you may as well invite me.
But if you, how are you going to compete at that level? How much sort of harder, more difficult is that? Are you going to be able to put more hours into the gym?
Yeah.
What do you have to do to get better?
I think it's a bit of a waiting game because you can only put on a certain amount of muscle, you can only gain a certain amount of weight, increase a certain amount of fitness over a space of time. So it's about being patient and carrying and finding a formula that works for you and then carrying on doing what you're doing when it works.
We haven't talked about your food, so I want to talk about that in a second. I also should say, I did get Phil to try and lift me up as well, so I'm going to show you that in a bit to see if Phil could lift me up over his head. We'll see how we got on. We'll do that. We'll play that for you in just a sec. Tell me about food, because that's the other thing that people are fascinated by.
Yes. So,
Partly is thinking, you do all these weights, you lift all this stuff, you must be able to eat what you like. That's amazing. Is it a chore? And what is your kind of dietary intake like on a daily basis?
right. So I actually have a nutritionist. So I'm put on a program of what to eat. I eat between 6,000 to 8,000 calories a day.
6 to 8. Okay, hold on.
Yes.
6 to 8. So
Yeah.
that is
Yeah.
3 times the daily intake. Recommended daily intake for a bloke. I
Yes.
think, roughly.
But at the
2 to 2.5.
Yeah,
for a
but at
bloke.
the same time, you've got to look at it a different aspect and say, you get a big engine in a car, you're going to have to fill up more times.
Yeah.
Okay, you get a little efficient city car, then you
Don't need
you
as
don't
much
have to fill
fuel.
as
Don't
much.
need as much fuel.
Exactly. So the bigger the muscle mass, the bigger the body, the more fuel it needs anyway. And then because I'm trying to grow, I'm trying to get to 22 stone instead of 21 stone, but I want it to be good weight. I've got to do it steady and smartly. So I eat quite healthily.
Go on then.
Try to anyway.
Give us a bit of what have you eaten today? Or give us
Right.
your sort of daily breakfast.
So breakfast.
How many breakfasts do you have?
I have between 2 and 3 breakfasts.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Have you got to set the alarm clock to get up to eat breakfast?
Yeah, basically. So the first one is between 7 and 8 Weetabix with full fat milk, a pint of full fat milk.
7 to 8 Weetabix.
Yeah, because that's 1,000 calories straight away.
That is a terrible breakfast.
Yeah, it's
That's
not
a
fun.
chore.
No, it's
That's not
fun.
exciting.
No,
She's
no,
ploughing.
yeah.
It's been an enormous bowl as well.
Yeah, or you just have to fill it up again. So
And it's full fat. You deliberately full fat milk.
yeah,
Is it okay?
full fat milk. And so that's 1,000 calories straight away.
So there's your first hour of the day, and then what are you having after that?
Then it's a bit more enjoyable. I have my bacon and eggs.
Every day.
Not every day, but that's generally on the program.
Okay.
It starts getting expensive every day.
Yeah.
With wholemeal bread, so where you try and get you try and get the healthy bits where you can, but sometimes you can't avoid it. So.
And is your nutritionist telling you, right, you need so many protein, so much carbohydrate?
Yes.
Is it all those food groups as well?
Yes. Yeah.
God, is that complicated as well, though?
No, because he does it for me.
Oh, okay.
For him, it's complicated. For me, it's very simple.
So he's not cooking them for you, but he's giving you a kind of dietary plan, is he?
So what we do is you can't just do a diet plan and basically say, right, eat this.
Yeah.
Because if I told you to eat 10 cream crackers and you don't like cream crackers, you're not going to eat it.
No, fair enough.
So what he does is he says, what do I eat? And then he'll say, right, well, instead of that, let's try something similar that's better. And that's what he does. So he's just slightly altered, makes it healthier. And I have...
Is it all chicken breasts and veg for lunch then, or what are you having?
No, because actually, it's a bit of... if you have too much... I was actually told when I first had the nutritionist that I had too much protein in my diet, which puts pressure on the kidneys. So actually... I had to bring down the amount of protein, so
too much meat you having in one.
Yeah, you can't just eat meat all the time because it has a detrimental effect on your kidneys.
So
eventually,
nice salad for lunch, is it?
I have a lot of fruit smoothies.
Do you? Fruit smoothies?
Fruit smoothies, which are they're nice. I like them.
Again,
they're
you get
tasty.
protein in that and carbohydrates, I suppose, do you?
Well, you can put proteins in it, but I choose not to. I put the milk in, so there's protein there. But then I have 5 pieces of fruit and veg in that shake, so that's straight away healthy.
Right.
So, for any doctors listening out
and
there,
what about all those?
healthy.
What about all those egg yolks and stuff that everyone's hears about? Do you have all that? Raw egg and
no raw egg. You see, that's another.
Is that another myth?
That's another myth. Raw egg, you don't absorb as much.
Right.
It needs to be cooked. I think the nutritionist was saying that it's 40% less efficient if you have it raw. So what's the point if you're only getting 60% efficiency out of it when you could be getting 100% by cooking it?
You're busting all these in spinach. What about spinach?
Popeye's very strong, isn't it?
Do you not is it not spinach every day?
No, I do have it in my shakes sometimes because there's a good iron content, but no, it won't make stronger.
Do you enjoy your food, or is it just a chore?
Yeah, it's a chore.
So it's actually just settle down and have to get all this inside me.
Yes.
I don't savour it.
No.
Can you go out to eat and enjoy a nice meal out?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because at the same time, you've got to live life, haven't you? If you're being miserable, then it's not much of a life, is it? So you do have to treat yourself from time to time, and I am subject to a takeaway every so often. I do like a good old takeaway.
And what about other discipline in your life? So you mentioned about sort of drinking elsewhere. You don't actually drink too much as well. Do you find? I suppose you have to get lots of sleep. Is it all that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
As well,
so you try and sleep because obviously you build the muscles up and recover when you're asleep, and obviously you have to have food to be able to recover that, and drink. I do have a beer from time to time. I just try to limit it as much and not stay out late as much as I used to.
What about, because you talked about the ambition and the drive to enter the world champs as well.
Yeah.
There's that dark side of it where you even hear about it at regular gyms across the city about steroids and drug taking as well. Do you hear about that side of things? Have you seen that kind of thing in competitions?
I've never seen it. You hear about it.
What do you hear?
That is what people talk about. But then live and let live, I say. If someone wants to do it, then that's up to them.
And what do they achieve from it? If you take certain steroids, you can put more muscle mass on easier, or what?
Yeah,
can you
so
achieve?
it just increases the amount of testosterone in the system, and testosterone is what builds muscles. So you're more likely to, well, you will put on more muscle. It's a proven fact. You'll put more muscle on. Some people take it, some people don't.
Do you know people who take it in competition that you've been in, or?
I choose not to pay attention. I concentrate on my game, on what I'm doing. What they do in their lives is up to them. Like I said, live and let live.
And are the drug testers, though, are they not getting found out?
There's very few drug testing. I mean, there is testing.
Is that at all levels, or the world champs as well?
No, high levels. Only at high levels. The lower levels, it's too expensive. The testing is too expensive. So
Right, so they can't actually afford to do this?
No, because it's an amateur sport. It's not classed as a profession.
Yeah.
Or there are very few professionals in this country that actually do it. No, it's they just can't afford it. I think it's like £300 a test or something.
Interesting. We should have a look. We're going to come back to Phil. Earlier on, I thought it'd be fun. You know how this worked with World Strongman, get him to do novelty lifts. I challenged Phil to see if he could lift me. We went outside on the terrace. Let's have a look at this. We're outside. We've moved outside from the Talking Sheffield studio. I'm here with... See, I was saying that we need Phil to be lifting something, and not just your bog standard weights. So I'm going to get Phil to lift me, and you asked me how much I weigh, and I said 12 stone. I've got a feeling I might be slightly more than 12 stone, but we've had a run through. Are you feeling like you can lift me okay?
Yes, I'm confident, yeah.
Have you lifted anyone much heavier than me before?
I think the heaviest I lifted was 16 stone.
And what's the most novelty thing that anyone's got you to lift before?
As novelty?
Yeah, it's like a comedy thing, like not just a person, but like a ridiculous item.
Well, I think a person could be one of them because we was at Fancy Dress on Halloween, so I lifted up Banana Man.
Okay.
So that's quite novelty.
I'm not as heavy as Banana Man, surely.
No, he was 16 stone. Yeah.
So, what do I need to do? You've got to grab me in intimate places.
Yes, we've got to get to know each other a lot better now. Okay, so I'm going to put one hand on your chest, and you're going to grab onto that. Then I'm going to grab in between your legs. Okay. Put you on the shoulder. Then raise you up.
I'm going to pass the microphone back to Bible here, and we're going to go through this.
Okay.
Eek. Right.
Grab on nice and tight.
I can put hands there?
A bit higher up. Yep. Higher up.
Okay.
Yep. Ready?
Yeah, just about.
Okay, nice and tight.
Do I look frightened? Oh. That is pretty impressive. Wow.
Oh.
Strong man. Well, there we go. You did it.
I managed it. Yeah.
Was I really heavy?
It's not my biggest achievement this year, but I did it, yeah.
You said I'm more than 12 stone as well.
Yes, you are more than 12
I've got to get those scales up.
Yeah, you've got to wind them back to 0 when you start.
Right,
when you stand on them.
okay. Oh, well, that was... So what has been the biggest challenge that you do? What in terms of those rounds that you do, you were saying, actually, you're known as Skinny Phil because you're slightly more mobile than some of the other athletes. What's the toughest one for you then?
So, because I'm more mobile, I'm going to suffer more on the static events. So, where you just have to literally lift
a stationary
big
lift
weight.
sort of thing.
Yes. Yes. Because I've got relatively long levers and I'm one of the lighter strongmen at my level. Mass moves mass at the end of the day. The ones who enjoy more food than me are better at the static lifts generally.
Are your mum and dad massive?
No. They're actually tiny.
Are they tiny, really?
Yeah, it's amusing because sometimes they come down to the gym and my customers don't actually believe that they are my mum and dad.
Tell me that you've lifted your mum and dad up and one on each shoulder.
No, they won't. I wouldn't dare. I wouldn't dare.
Are they proud of you, though? Do they like the kind of career path that you've chosen? Are they sort of fully behind you?
I think my parents, I've got a lot to give them credit for. They supported me whatever I do and whatever I did. So I've got no problems with that. They may not have chosen, if they could choose it for me, they wouldn't have chosen the route I went down, but they also allowed me to be me, express myself.
But you're happy? You enjoy yourself?
Yes, yeah.
And you've got this ambition. How long do you're going to set yourself before you have a stab at the Worlds?
Well, I've got a plan with my coach, a 5-year plan. But I think in the next year or two, I will be going to World's Strongest Man.
Phil, it's been an absolute pleasure. Fascinating to chat to you as well. Yeah. Fascinating to get the kind of behind-the-scenes guide. Yeah. Thanks for lifting me. That'll be my profile shot on Facebook and Twitter very soon. Thank you for watching. We will have another fascinating guest for you on Talking Sheffield same time next week. See you then.